what made you decide that you want to be a street preacher go-getter? You walking down the road one day,
I think it goes back to that girl when I was 19, 20, and I can talk to you really, really well, and that's one thing we butted heads on. That made me sensitive to how much blockage that can bring. So I think that sparked my interest.
And you also go out and you talk to the women marchers.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
What's that like for you?
One of the two things I know we agree on. You know, I can talk so much about that. I'll try to make it short. I go out there and ask them why they're there because I know that they can't really answer the question.
Yeah.
Like, why are you out here? What is it you're doing? And they never have a good answer. They would say, am I here for rights? I'm like, what rights? And they'll just talk about the rights they already have. They're trying to protect, like abortion or something like that.
Right.
There's nothing, they're not really oppressed, even though they preach to themselves that they are. If anyone's oppressed, it's men. So.
Have them ever attacked you physically?
I think I've seen it in their eyes, but I don't think they've actually done it.
Oh, okay. And what's your impression of women?
I think feminism programs them incorrectly on how to see the world.
Meaning what?
It instills in them some sort of a victimhood, and as far as I think, like, how do you want me to answer the question? Like in a general sense, or as far as the Women's March is concerned?
Totally you.
That's a hard one to answer. Women are human beings who allow men to serve them and their children, and in return carefully reward them with praise and sex. Is that good?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Do you trust women?
I would trust a woman who I click with and can identify with and enjoy talking with and can create a bond of trust with them in that fashion, yes. But I don't trust anyone just without good reason.
So other than that one woman, it sounded like that you converted back to atheism.
Yeah.
You trusted her, right?
Guess. I mean, I'm not sure like what you mean by that though exactly. Like,
Are there women in your life that you trust now?
Sure. Yeah.
And what does it mean to trust them?
That's what I was wondering. But if I'm to answer the question, then trust them. With I should be able to speak my feelings and trust that they'll handle it in a reasonable way and have logical discourse with me. I trust them to be reasonable and
have you ever met
listen.
any like that?
Yeah, sure.
You met something like that?
Sure.
What is a man?
A man is a human being who works.
And what is love?
Love is a word to describe a set of emotions or the amount of emotions one has for another person.
I have one really good question for you, but I want to ask this first. What's the difference between men and women, besides body parts?
Besides the XY and the XX?
Yeah.
The difference. Men search for knowledge. No, there's exceptions to this. I want to go back and put a disclaimer that my definition of women who allow men to serve them, that's a general thing. There's always exceptions. So
what the?
Sorry, I forgot what I was about to say. So, I'm sorry.
The difference between men and women besides the chromosome thing and the body parts and all that.
Shoot. Men search for knowledge. Women tend to search for material things.
Okay.
For the most part. If you go past a store and there's a new machine in there that does some really cool things, I doubt you'd find many men who won't stop and look at it, want to know how it is, how it works, and not many women would do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you love white people?
I love mankind.
White people.
I would love anyone regardless of what color they are, just because I'm more attracted to different
Well, I don't mean
colors.
sexually,
Okay.
but I just mean people. Do you love white people?
I love. You want a yes or no on this, don't you? I just don't want it to say, like, I want to say yes, but I don't want it to therefore mean that I don't love other colors. So I love mankind. I would love anyone regardless of their color. So I would say yes to that.
So do you love white people?
Okay, I'll say yes to that.
And why is it so hard to just say yes?
I don't know. Just because I guess the context of the question, I'm not sure where you're going with it. So I wanted to.
But I'm going to, do you love white people?
Okay, then I'll just say yes to that.
So why are you hesitant?
Well, like I said, I just didn't know the context and where you were going with it.
What context could I mean with that?
I don't know. I just thought it was a weird question. So.
Do you love black people?
Yes, I'll say yes to that too, of course.
How about Jewish people?
I guess, sure, yeah.
I always find it interesting for people to say yes to those questions without hesitation. Somebody asked me, do I love white people? Yes.
Well,
do you love black people? Yes. Do you love Jewish people? Yes.
Well, then you have to go through the whole list.
No,
where if I just say I love
really.
mankind, that'll like cover everybody.
No, if they just ask, do you love white people? Like, yeah.
Okay.
Or if they just ask, do you love black people? Yes.
Okay.
I don't worry about.
Okay.
I gotta have everybody.
Well, let's go through the whole list then.
No. I noticed that white people are afraid to say that they love white people.
Would you? But you would understand the reason behind it through what I said, right? For they're not sure of where you're going with that because.
But where can I be going with it?
I don't know. It could implicitly imply that you have reason to think that the said person you're asking that of may not like white people. So they may feel like, why is this guy asking me if I like white people? Is there something behind the question? That, I think, is wherein lies the hesitancy.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Why would that matter?
Just open communication, I guess. They just want to make sure that the communication's solid, that's all. And understanding is there, that's all.
I noticed that white people are afraid of black people.
I'm not afraid of black people.
They're afraid to be honest about them and tell them the
Not
truth
at
about
all.
themselves.
Not at all.
Not at all?
Not
You're
at all.
not?
No, I can answer anything.
But have you noticed
Open
that,
book.
you know how blacks call the white people racist and they blame the white people for everything that's wrong with themselves?
I think there's a lot of SJWs out there who are afraid to speak their mind and because they think they might trigger somebody.
What do you think about that?
I think they have issues.
What's your opinion of Black Lives Matter?
I don't necessarily support it.
And why not?
Because all lives matter. And when you make a movement about Black Lives Matter, and then I ask them, why do you support Black Lives Matter? Why is there a sign in your window at your house, whatever, in your car? Why is this so important? And then they tell you that, well, look at everything's happening in the world. Look at the black people being killed by the police, and they don't really care and stuff like that. They'll say stuff like that, as you well know. But then you turn to reality, and well, twice as many white people are killed by the police every year than black people.
Yeah.
But they want to make a whole movement about it. Like,
Yeah.
what about white people? I think, and this is my reason why they think they're like that. The mainstream media likes to take and spin things around, and
Yeah.
they'll put the black person being hurt or killed by the police on the news, but they'll ignore any white people who are being killed by police. So everyone's being fed this information as if, this is happening more than white people, and they think, oh, we're being targeted. Let's start a movement about it. When, hey, we're killed twice as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that the blacks, they are like the thugs. They go out and they don't follow the orders of the officers, police officers. They run. They have weapons. They do all kind of crazy things. But instead of correcting the black for doing that, hey, this is not what you want to do, they blame the cop, the white cops.
I know they do. I mean, blacks make up, what, 12, 13% of the population,
Yeah.
yet they're responsible for about 50% of the crime rate.
Right.
Some cities, it's 2/3. And then they're like, well, why am I getting pulled over more? Why do you think?
Yeah.
You know, and they want to think it's racism.
Yeah.
Like the one thing we agree on, the Trayvon Martin thing.
Yeah.
You know, all evidence shows that George Zimmerman is infamous and he's living in exile. He can't work a normal job.
I know.
Of course he's going to sell the gun that was
Yeah.
used. Of course he's going to try to sell his paintings to get by. He can't go do a normal 9-to-5 job. The guy's in exile, having to live with family or whatever. All the facts show that, you know, he defended himself.
Yeah.
But no, because Trayvon's black, he must be innocent. Like, where are they getting it from? Same thing with the Michael Brown issue.
Yeah.
It's just people don't care about the facts. They go with what the mainstream media says, and then they use your emotions that was triggered by that, or whoever triggered them, and they use their emotions to hold on to their fact. I don't believe in having sacred beliefs.
Yeah.
I don't have any sacred beliefs.
They also did that with that unemployed drug addict, George Floyd. They blamed the cop for his death when it was George Floyd that had overdose, according to the report. You're going to die anyway.
Yeah, I'm not too sure of the specifics on that. I do know he had some issues.
Yeah, serious issues.
Yeah, I can't really comment too much on it because I didn't really do too much homework in it.
Right.
But you could have something to that.
So if you were amongst a bunch of black people, and this subject came up, would you be able to stand up and deal
Yep.
with it?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, I would speak my mind. I'm never afraid to speak my mind. I'll always say the truth about something, even if I am amongst people who may disagree.
And so is that because you had your judo training and military background, you know you could beat them up?
I can defend myself, and I can be assertive, and I can speak my mind,
Right on.
and I have a loud voice if I need to, and I can talk sense to someone even if I have to. So I have the ability to talk sense, speak loud, and defend myself, and I think enough of that to my aid to where I can survive fine in that situation.
Have you ever turned I know you go out and deal with those feminist women, right? The women marches and stuff. Have you ever turned any of them from a crazy feminist to a normal person?
I don't think so. I don't think I've spent too much time with them, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
I think preachers are easier to come by, which is why you see mostly preachers on my channel than
Right.
other
I noticed
topics.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you go out and deal with the Jews on the streets and the Muslims and the Allahu Abba folks?
If they're preaching, or if
Right.
they're calling us in a scene, like Scientologists, you might find a couple of videos on there
Right.
with me and them. If they're calling us in a scene, I'll want to expose it. Yes, I will do that. I wish there was not enough. Well, it's not that I wish there were more Muslims on the street, but if there were, you would see more videos of me.
You would deal with that?
Oh yeah, anything.
But
Any
they'll
religion.
chop your head off.
They'd have to be quick about it and not miss.
So I got to ask you about dating and stuff.
Okay, sure.
And so are you dating now?
No, not really.
Do you hope to be married with kids one day?
Well, like I said, I don't really care for marriage.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I may want a child, sure.
Out of wedlock
Sure.
with a black woman?
A darker woman, whether she's black or some other color.
Because white women don't have out of wedlock babies.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Oh,
No,
they
abort them.
They bought them?
They abort them.
Oh, abort them. They bought them. Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of people have abortions. I mean, I'm all for their ability to choose. I just wish men had reproductive rights as well.
What do you mean by that?
We don't have men who don't have reproductive rights.
Over their own children, huh?
Well, I mean, if a woman goes and has sex, she has all these different choices for not to have the child.
Yeah.
And even leaving at the doorsteps of a fire department, men have no choice. And that's one way that we are severely oppressed that causes financial loss, depression, even suicide, one of the many things. Even, you can talk about the Pound Me Too movement and how allegations from them, basic allegations, can also send men to financial ruin, depression, suicide. It destroys our lives, and,
Yeah.
and we're just not, we're too busy working. We don't have time to go out and do marches, and we don't have the base that we need to change things as fast as we want.
What type of movement?
MRA movement, you know?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What else I wanted to ask you about that? So you wouldn't mind having a child out of wedlock,
Oh, yeah, no problem with that.
but they would take your child. The woman would.
Well, you need to be with someone who you deem reasonable and someone you trust, someone you spend a lot of time with.
Oh, I got you.
Someone of level of mind, someone you can speak with. A lot of people, they get married to someone without having what you need for a successful relationship. They don't know that someone should be your best friend before they're your lover. They don't know that.
You support sex before marriage?
Yes.
Oh, that's why.
I mean, you got to know what you're working with, right?
What the?